Principal Angela here. She's the lucky one. On the 60th anniversary, she oversees 900 students with 43 teachers. And she has been for the past 8 years in partnership with UNLV as the only professional development school in the city. So we thank you for being here and for all you do to educate our youth. And we have a proclamation today, making today, what's today? Who knows what day it is? Do we know what it is? It's November 18th is what it is, okay? Just for those of you who didn't know. It is John C. Fremont Middle School Day in the city of Las Vegas, and so says this proclamation.
My memories of John C. Fremont are still, believe it or not, after all this time, very vivid. I really enjoyed going to school there. So I went to John C. Fremont in 7th and 8th grade. And this whole junior high thing was a relatively new concept. I know it was basically on the outskirts of town, you know, in St. Louis. I mean, who lived way out there? Can you imagine? I mean, whoever's listening to this, St. Louis is in the middle of Las Vegas. Sahara barely existed. In fact, a couple of years earlier, it was still, I think it was San Francisco Avenue, something like that. But, you know, I'll tell you what I remember about that. I remember we had a student-faculty basketball game, and there was one teacher who was short in stature, Mr. Keller, and so I got to guard him. He was taller than I was, but we were the shortest ones out there. And he just beat me. When I was done, I had scratches and welts. And I'm thinking, that's not the way I think basketball was supposed to be played. But they were the teachers. They got to do whatever they want. I think we beat them.
And I think the tradition of John C. Fremont left a good taste in the mouth of the whole community. I think the people that we had here, I think the teachers, when I see how they surfaced to the top on different things, I think that was kind of the philosophy of Fremont. And I loved every day to come to school. I never dreaded it. I loved it. I liked the kids. I liked the teachers. Every day was different.
As I think about memories that I had at Fremont, the overarching memory would be what a great place it is. Great staff, great kids, and great parents who really appreciated what teachers and administrators did for their children. And to me, that's the most important thing that ever happens in a school. Fremont has always had that. My assumption is it is still there today. It's got a rich history, lots of great people there. I think you just have to walk the halls. You can feel the history coming out of it. And again, I applaud you for your efforts. I think this will be an important piece of history that we preserve for the Clark County School District.
We live in a town in which buildings that are 30 years old get bulldozed and replaced with something shiny and new. And Fremont somehow has avoided that fate. And I think a lot of that is because of the history here. I think we've had so many important people come through the door, so many influential community members who were here, that in a way the history of the building itself is really important. The fact that it was one of the first 3 junior high schools in the valley, I think, is important. And so that history, the roots in the community, I think are really, really important. We don't have much history in Vegas, but this is a historical place.
explain everything that happened, and this community, this area, need this kind of school with that kind of teachers. Because the parents normally they don't get too involved because they have to work, but the teachers are here to help the kids get involved in the education. And I know that they do that because they did with my kids.
Its importance to the community. We serve a population that's very diverse and underrepresented at times when it comes to making educational decisions. And we are here serving that population, we're serving those students and their families, and more importantly, we're preparing teachers here to go out to other schools and do the same for other at-risk communities. And I don't think there's a more important mission in education today than to reaching all of those at-risk populations and closing the achievement gap and really making sure that we're preparing high-quality teachers through high-quality teacher instruction. And that's what Fremont's able to provide because we've had so much practice at mentoring and developing new teachers.
Fremont's a great place, and so many times people will complain about the facility. As all of you know, it was built as an elementary school in the mid-50s and later turned into a middle school and always had its challenges with electricity, air conditioning, and bathrooms, and I'm sure those challenges are still there today. The thing I love about Fremont, with its staff and its kids, those challenges never prevented one thing from occurring that was good for a child. And I think you just have to look across this community to see the people in important positions today who had their middle school experience at Fremont Junior High School or middle school in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and so on.
But here at Fremont, we were taught differently. We were taught to be ourselves, we were taught to be innovative, we were taught to dream, and we were taught that no obstacle was big enough for us to make it. This was my second home. And
outside neighborhoods judge Fremont. They judge where I'm at when I tell them where I teach. A lot of them go, and they give me the face like, I'm sorry. And there's nothing to be sorry for. The reason why I feel like Fremont has lasted as long as it has is because it's beautiful. Like it embraces one another. It's the safety net. I mean, if you go to a couple middle schools, they have the bars on the windows, and people judge that, but when you look deeper within it, you learn a lot about life, not just the students. So anybody that went through Fremont, they're already going to be better people because they're not so superficial when they see things. They might see more of the rundown walls, but they don't see the beauty that was built within it.
I love Fremont. I've taught at several different schools. I can count the schools that I've taught at on more than one hand, and Fremont just feels right. It seems like the sun is always shining, it's open, it's cozy, it's friendly, it's just a warm place. Warm place to be, and I really feel at home.
Well, Fremont is an extremely student-led school. Everything that goes on around the students are allowed to participate in, so it really does help develop leadership skills, confidence, and independence because, students can host a pep rally, students can announce the basketball games, they're on the announcements, they're making the yearbook. It's elementary school, you don't really have these opportunities, and all of a sudden in the 6th grade, it's kind of like so many doors open, you don't even know what to do with yourself, and that really does help going on into high school and into real life. The community around here needs this stability. That it's the heart of the community, honestly. This school needs to be where it is.
The demeanor of kindness and a smile opens up every door. Friendliness, caring, that's how the school is. It's always been that way. I just can't say it enough. It's that environment.
School like Fremont Middle School, we've gone through the good, through the bad, the ugly, and the pretty, but we've made it through, and we've produced some great things. So I'm not ready to say goodbye to Fremont Middle School, and looking back at Fremont Middle School is almost like having a badge of honor, right?
It's doing significant work now in terms of bringing young teachers along, and there's nothing more critical. I mean, you have to have great teachers to bring up and teach these students properly, but you also have to make sure that your teachers are growing properly. We kind of miss that in the whole big scheme of things, and I think that's an important part of what John C. Fremont is doing. So when I look back at John C. Fremont, I can't help, because that's what I do, is look forward at the same time. And you know, the buildings are old, but the teachers are new, and the kids are always new. And it's just a building. I go around the country and I see brilliant kids being taught in the most cruddy-looking, decrepit buildings. But what goes on inside the building is unbelievable. And I'm guessing that's what's happening at John C. Fremont. I'd be thrilled to know that that's the case. Because, you know, there's some things that you've got to hold on to from the past and then help push forward. And, you know, in my book, John C. Fremont's one of them. It's got a great place. And I know, or I've been told that, you know, clearly the neighborhood has changed, so the mix in the school has changed dramatically. But that's who we are. We are becoming an urban city, a significantly urban city, and you cannot, in my view, you just can't take those schools out of the neighborhoods. That's the glue. That's the part that makes the neighborhood. So, you know, I keep hearing all kinds of rumors that this school's going to go and that school's going to go. It's like a tree in Las Vegas. I don't believe in cutting trees down in Las Vegas. I also don't believe in cutting schools down.
I hope one person that has never seen Fremont the way I have, I hope they change the way they can view it.
Recognition, definitely. It's getting the recognition for the anniversary, but I mean, more funding for this poor place. Like, people look on it so badly, you know. It's had problems with, you know, almost being shut down in the past and stuff. So maybe just more appreciation. Appreciate it more because it is special.
My birthday wish for Fremont is that people come to visit, that people come to see what we have to offer here
So
too.
if I could grant it one wish, I would grant it the support that it needs to continue thriving for 60 years, 100 years, and 200 years beyond its time. So
The best I can say is congratulations, right? 60 years old. But in my life, that's a baby. So happy birthday, baby.